Hey guys, I'm Ivory. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the products that I would use if I wasn't a YouTuber. I've been doing YouTube for a little over 2 years at this point, and there's a lot of products that I've bought just because I saw the hype around it. I felt like the video was going to do well, but it wasn't necessarily something that I would buy because I really wanted it. It more so was for you guys. But it actually kind of worked out because a lot of the products I wouldn't think to buy are actually in this video now. So I guess there's a little silver lining. This video is in collaboration with my friend Vanessa, who you may know as NessacxBeauty. I think the last collab that I did also was with her, but that's how you know I'm consistent. The friendship is real. She is a great and sweet person. So after this video, be sure to go to her video where she talks about all the products that she would use if she wasn't a YouTuber. I will link that video below as well as her social media. But before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I try to post new videos every single week, and also be sure to follow me on my social media. Everything is _ivorypcherry. All right, so I'm gonna go in order of the way I would do my face. So the first product is primer, and I actually don't have any primer for this category. Primer takes a very long time for me to finish. I've only finished one primer in my entire life, and I want to say it took about 5-6 years to finish. Usually the primer I get, it's 1 fluid ounce. You only need like a pea-sized amount, so it takes a long time to get through, and by the time I do finish it, even if it is good, I'm over it. I want to try something new. What else is out there that is more recent? So I actually have no product for this category. I have no alliances to any primer whatsoever. And while we're here, I might as well say that I feel the same way about brow products. So eyebrow pencils, brow gels, all of that. Once I'm done with it, I don't repurchase it even if I really like it. I want to move on to something else. So the next product is foundation, and you guys know this is my favorite category, so it's very hard to pick what I wanted. I only have 2 for this category, which I think is going to surprise a lot of people. But the first one is the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. This is a very matte foundation. It's a velvet matte. When I applied it on my face, it looks like I already set it down with powder, but that's not the case. It's very matte. I chose this one because it's very buildable. On the first layer, it looks kind of sheer and it doesn't look super promising, but it's really easy to build up. You know, some foundations that are full coverage, some people may say like, oh, you could sheer it down with moisturizer or just use less of it and then just really sheer it out. But some full coverage foundations, it doesn't really look good. They're just meant to look full. This is not the case. If you want a sheer day, a medium coverage, a full coverage day, it's easily achievable with this foundation. I believe it's also waterproof. I haven't been able to test that, but I wore this for 11 hours and I looked so matte. So if you have oily skin like me, this is your best friend. I am in the shade 50 WY. I do wish it was a little bit darker. I would go with 51 WY if you are close to my shade. Another reason why I really like this is because it is so lightweight. To get full coverage for most foundations, I'll need about 4 to 6 pumps. For this one, I will need 6 to 8. But this formula is a lot more loose than most liquid foundations. It is very runny. So even though 6 to 8 pumps sounds like a lot of foundation, it never felt like that on my face. If anything, it actually felt like less than all my other foundations when I use 4 to 6 pumps. I will say that the one drawback from this foundation is it's definitely designed for people with oily skin. So if you're like me, you have acne and a lot of the skin around your acne is dry or crusty, it will cling to it and it's not going to look super flattering. So whenever I know I'm going to be using this foundation, before you apply it, add lotion to your face, or if anything, add lotion to the areas where it's a little bit dry because it's gonna cling onto it. The next foundation I want to talk about is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear foundation. This foundation is, I wouldn't say it's dewy. If anything, it was just a really natural foundation. So as you can see, I have 2 different finishes, a really matte one and then a more natural looking one. So I have one of each because I don't always want to be matte. A lot of the times, especially lately, I want to have a more natural finish. That's what I've been really into lately. But this has SPF 25. Of course, because it is L'Oreal, it's super affordable. It lasts really well on me. It feels lightweight. The coverage on me is medium. I know some people can get full, but I feel like when I want to be full and I have to add more layers, the wear time decreases. So I personally, with any hydrating foundation or luminous, whatever you want to call it, whenever I have these types of finishes, because I'm oily, I do not do more than 4 pumps. I have learned through many trials and errors when it comes to me having oily skin and a non-matte foundation, the more I try to add, the less it looks better on me in the long run. So I will say on me, because I have acne and lots of things peeking through, 4 pumps gives me a solid medium coverage. But if you have more clear skin, it's probably going to be medium full because you'll have less to cover up. All right, so the next product is concealer, and that is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. This has really great coverage. I love that it's not totally matte. It is very easy to blend, and it's one of those concealers where if you leave it under your eye and move on to something else on your face and then go back to it, it's still very easy to blend. You don't have to immediately work at it because you're afraid that it's not going to blend out. I really like concealers that have that type of formula because even though when I do add concealer all over my face, I do blend it out right away, there are some that I'm gonna give them away. There are some concealers that I have that dry so quickly that the minute that I apply them, I have to take a sponge and quickly blend it right away. Like I can't add a little triangle here, a little triangle here. Like no, I have to add the triangle, blend it out, add it again, blend it out. Otherwise I won't be able to blend it and it's just gonna look very stark. That is not the case with this concealer. I can put the concealer everywhere that I want. If I wanna leave it for a minute or two, it's still easy to blend. So yeah, good stuff. All right, so next is powder. I would use the Dermablend Loose Setting Powder. This is the translucent one. No, original. It just says original. But it is translucent even though it's white. Sometimes certain powders will lighten up your foundation. Not this one. What I really love is how fine the powder is. It's hard to describe because I used to think that my other powders were very fine, and then you try this and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is the only powder that I can use under my foundation. That is something that I do if I know I'm gonna be wearing my foundation for a long period of time. There are certain powders that I have that I know I can't do that because they're not as finely milled. So when I add foundation on top, I get these little balls and the powder just like clumps up under my foundation. It makes me look super textured. That has never happened with this powder, so it's great for under my foundation and on top of it. All right, next is bronzer. This is the Morphe mini bronzer in the shade Debutante. I've been using this pretty consistently for the better part of like 6 months. I just really love the shade of this. I think it's perfect for both bronzing as well as contouring. This is actually the bronzer that I'm wearing right now. I think it's a perfect shade for me. It's so easy to blend out. A little bit goes a long way, you know, like I said, this is the mini size. I've been using this very consistently and I still haven't hit pan. So it shows you that you really don't need a lot. And then next we have blush. So again, I have multiple because I'm annoying and I'm that bitch. First, we have the Peak Cosmetics blush palette. This was given to me from Duval Cosmetics. As you can see, I tragically lost one, but that's okay. It was an ugly shade. Out of all the colors, this one is my girl. You can see that there's like a powder halo around it because I dipped into it so much. But I really like the color variety of all of these. These are the only two that have a little bit of shimmer to them. This actually works as a bronzer for me. It doesn't work well as a bronzer for me. It's a little bit too red, but you know, if I was desperate, it's nice that that's there. I have two more blushes though. So the next one is the Sigma Cor-De-Rosa Aura powder. It says that it's a face powder, which is confusing because face powder could be like setting powder, pressed powder, foundation powder. But I mean, arguably this looks like blush, right? But nowhere does it say that it's actually blush. It just says that it's for the face, which is like, duh, what would I do? Put this in my knees? I don't know if I'm gonna get a good swatch out of this, but we're gonna try. Hopefully you can see, oh, this is the bronzer, but this is the blush. It is matte. I just think it's so wearable. It's very muted. If I wanted like an easy makeup look where maybe I have no eyeshadow on and I just want a little bit of blush, this is the one I use because the in-between color of it, there's a little bit of brown undertone to it. It's hard to see. Oh, I just wiped it off. Hold on. It's hard to see, but on my skin, it has a little bit of a brown undertone to it. So on a day where I don't want to bronze and blush, I'll just go in with this and just apply this all over the cheeks. I also love to apply blush all over my eyes just so that I have a nice monochromatic look. All right, and then the last blush is by Laurent. It is called Rosé All Day, and this is what it looks like. It's a little bit more pink than my other blushes. This is like more of a pop, but yeah, you can see it's definitely more vibrant than this one. This one is more for winter because I am more fair. If I wore it now, I'm sure it still would look good actually, but I think it looks better when I'm more fair. All right, so next is highlighter. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the e.l.f. Blush Gems. There's something so magical in this formula. It feels cheap as hell, but when you apply it, it's this golden streak right here. There's just something so magical about it. I'm not wearing it today because I'm doing a wear test actually. So when I do a wear test, I don't add highlighter, but this is the perfect undertone for me. I have yet to find something as perfect as this one. And I also really love how subtle it is. Anyone that's been around for a while knows I don't love a super blinding highlight. The more subtle actually, the better. And then the next highlighter is the Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips. As you can see, I broke two of these. I tried to move this pan into a Z palette, and then as I was lifting it off, a bunch of the shadows started breaking, so I had to abort mission and I kept it in here. But while I was trying to do that, I broke two of them, and a bunch of them are actually cracked. So that was a hard day. Before I actually had my channel, this was the only thing I used as highlighter. Again, the highlight is very subtle. You could definitely build it up. You could see, oh yeah, that is so metallic. And I loved the variety in here. So actually, when I would go to work, I would always use a matte eyeshadow, and then I would put my finger into one of these, any of these. I didn't care which one because they were all good. And I would just take one of the colors and then just apply it on my lid, and then that's it. So these were great for eyeshadows, as highlighter, and they all kind of works for me, even though this one, like this row is too dark. When you mix it all together, it never looked too dark on my skin. So it's nice that I was able to mix them all and make it work. But also if I wanted a specific color, whether it's bronze, copper, pink, champagne, white, I know there was a white here, here, but like I said, I broke it. I also have the option to like just swatch one square and pick just one specific color. All right, so next I have eyeshadow palettes. The first one shouldn't be a surprise because I talk about it so much, but it is the BH Cosmetics Ultimate Neutrals palette. I love neutrals. The only reason I ever do color is because you guys want me to do color, or because I feel like people are tired of seeing me do just like the basic neutral look all the time. But neutrals are what I'm most comfortable with. They go with every outfit. I never have to think about it. I have never created a look that I didn't like with these colors. Like anything goes with this palette. Like if I wanted, you know, this brick red shade and I wanted to go with a little bit of orange, or this more purpley brown shade, like it all flows together well. The formula is amazing. I feel like BH Cosmetics is way more consistent and better quality than a lot of other more affordable brands. Even though BH Cosmetics is a big brand, I feel like they definitely deserve more hype. The next palette is the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. As you can see, neutrals again. The neutrals are nice. The formula is good. I have no complaints, but the best part about this palette is the top row, just the glitters. I almost wish that I had this palette and then these rows of glitters and I'd be good. I think the neutrals in this one, the color story at least, is better than this one. Like if I didn't have this glitter top row and I just had the matte and shimmers and metallics from each of these palettes, I would go with this one. Not just because there's more, because I do feel like some of these are redundant, but I feel like this color story of neutrals is better than this color story of neutrals. However, I do think that the black shade from this palette, that's the one thing that's lacking from this, because as you can see, there's no black in this one. So they each have something that is missing from the other. And then the last palette is the Huda Beauty New Nude palette. Just like the name insinuates, it is a nude palette, kind of, but it's, you know, a little bit of a more fun nude palette, if that's a thing. Pink is my favorite color, and I love that these are muted pinks. They're not super bright and obnoxious. These are totally wearable. So for me, this is a perfect way of getting out of the typical neutral rut. You know, sometimes even when I want to wear a wearable look, I don't always want to go for the typical browns, oranges, coppers, reds. I want something just a little bit more spicy. So this is why I included this palette. It's still very wearable, but there's just a little bit of some extra to it. All right, so next we have, actually, should I talk about lashes? I don't know if there's like one specific lash that I really like over the others. I really like trying them all. I can't be tied down to one lash. So we're gonna move on to the next category, which is lips. I have a lot because there is a lip for every type of look. So I'm gonna go from light to dark. The first one is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. This is in the shade Seductress. This is a little bit light for me in this season. This is about as light as it can go in nudes. Anything else, I feel like I have foundation lips or it's just too pale. Maybe it does look good on me, but I don't think it looks good on me. But even this, sometimes I feel like depending on the look, it's too fair on me. It is a liquid lipstick if I haven't already said that. So it does dry down to a matte. The staying power of these are really great. The one thing I would caution is to be careful with the layers, because this formula specifically, the more I add, the stickier it gets, and it gets a little bit like gummy. I don't know how else to say that. So if after one coat, and usually for me, one coat is enough. It's full coverage. You don't need more. If I ever need more coverage though, don't swipe the whole thing again. Just go into the areas that need a little bit more coverage. The next one is the Milani Amore Matte Lip Creams. This is the shade Precious. I'll just say right now, these are all liquid lipsticks. I love liquid lipsticks more than any other formula. If I feel like it's a little bit too dry, sometimes I'll add a glass on top, but it's pretty rare that I add glosses, just because I don't like when I drink and then it transfers on my straw. I think that's gross. It ruins the longevity of the liquid lipstick, and I actually don't like the feel. But as you can see, this is more cool toned. This has a little bit of a purple undertone to it. Again, one coat and you're good to go. You can layer it up if you want, because this formula is a lot thinner than this formula. And then this is the color Loved. It's the same Milani formula as this one. This is how it looks. It's a little bit more dramatic than my actual lip color. So if I ever want like a little bit of a pop, not too much pop, just a little one, this is the shade I'll go for. But if I ever want my lips but better, I always go with the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit. This is in Give Me Mocha. This is my most used liquid lipstick for sure. I feel like there's barely any left. I'm actually wearing it today. I think it kind of wore off. Hold on. This is the only one I'll swatch now. You can see this area right here has very little liquid lipstick on, and then the rest, I just did it right now. And it just brings my actual lip color to life. This formula is so comfortable. As you can see, this color is very flattering on me. At least I think so. I don't know. It never feels super drying. It's easy to layer up. I swatched it right here. A horrible swatch, by the way. But out of all of these shades, this is my go-to. The next one is the Ofra Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick. This is in the shade Havana Nights. And this is just a beautiful dark red. I love dark reds like this, like crimson, blood red. Pre-YouTube, before I ever had like a family festivity or a date night, anytime I had to get ready and like do the whole shebang on my face, it would be some type of eye like this, very neutral, very easy, and then a dark lip. I always did a dark lip, and it would always be a shade like this. The next one I have is lip gloss. This is the Midas Causemetics lip gloss in the shade number 1. This is what it will look like. Obviously, it's not going to dry down because the rest are liquid lipsticks, and then this is a lip gloss. The pigment in this is so opaque that a lot of the times I just wear the lip gloss alone. I know a lot of people like to wear lip gloss on top of other things. You know what? I'm just gonna add a little bit just so that you can see. Okay, so this is on top of the Wet n Wild liquid lipstick, but you get a good sense of how it looks. I don't know how I would describe this. It's like a dusty pink, a brown pink, a red pink. I don't know. You can just look at it and interpret it for yourself. And then the last product is mascara. So I have two. The first one being the Thrive Causemetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. This is a tubing formula, so if you've never had a tubing formula, it's the best way I can explain it is when you wash your face, when water hits your lashes, you're not gonna get raccoon eyes. It's not gonna smear black. It's almost like the mascara creates a little hat on your lashes, and then when water hits it, you just take the hat off. That was the worst analogy ever. If anything, that just confused you some more. But the formula makes the mascara come off in clumps. Like, you're not gonna get any smearing. And I actually really like it because after I wash my face, I can see if I still have mascara on my lashes. Whereas sometimes with other non-tubing mascaras, I feel like I got all the mascara off, but I'm not totally sure. And it's actually easier to take off for me than other non-tubing mascaras. And then the last mascara is the L'Oreal Telescopic. I don't know if it's the wand or the formula, a combination of the two, but the length that I get from that mascara, I would say it's pretty on par with the Thrive Causemetics one, but I feel like it's a little bit longer. And also they separate a little bit better with the L'Oreal mascara. If I don't want to wear any false lashes and I just want to wear mascara, that's usually the one I count on. And also I love the way that it makes my lower lashes look. They look so much longer. They probably won't look long to you because I have such short lashes, but to me, they look a lot longer. All right, I thought I was done filming, but I actually had to come back because I totally forgot setting spray. So I forget if the last thing I said was the last product that I was going to mention, but I lied. The last category is setting spray, and I would use the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I have run out, so I can't even show you how fine this mist is, but it smells so good and it's so fine. It never ruins my makeup. A lot of the sprays that I use, even if the mist is super fine and it's a pump, for whatever reason, my nose almost always still gets ruined. I also appreciate that it is continuous. Like, if I keep pressing down at this button, the mist will keep going. Whereas with other sprays, like, I have to keep pressing down every single time I want the mist to come out. I think I just really like, more than anything, aerosol setting sprays. Like, if another brand came out with something like this, I would totally try it. It doesn't have to be Morphe. But that is it, guys. I make it sound like I didn't just list a ton of products. I know that was a lot. Watch, Vanessa has like double of every single category. But that is it. Again, don't forget to watch Vanessa's video. It is in my description box below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and feel free to comment down below what videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!